Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing K-1 fiancé visas and the new public charge rule. We're specifically discussing this in the context of K-1 fiancé visas for those with a Lao fiancé or they're processing through the U.S. Embassy in Vientiane, Laos. So those who are watching this video and you're looking for kind of a more generalized analysis of the public charge rule, go ahead and go over to the search function in our channel and you can check out some more generalized information on public charge. We're talking about this specifically in the context of a K-1 visa and specifically from Laos, and for that reason this may not be overly pertinent to those who aren't in those specific, dealing with that specific visa category nor dealing with that specific embassy. So the thing to take away from this video is, first of all, the brunt of this new public charge rule is not necessarily going to hit during the processing of the K-1 visa. In fact, it's probably going, for lack of a better term, hit in the adjustment of status process after that K-1 fiancé has arrived in the United States and they're looking to go ahead and adjust their status into green card status in the U.S. So you're not necessarily going to be dealing with this or the sort of nuances of this new public charge rule over here on this side, over here through processing at the U.S. Embassy in Laos, because, for example, well, I should state specifically, K-1 fiancés are not entering in resident status. So they're not entering with the same status as, for example, someone entering the United States with a CR1 visa or an IR1 visa. They're entering the United States with a K-1 visa, which is kind of this odd hybrid visa. It's a non-immigrant visa, but in many ways it's treated as an immigrant visa. It just has its own specific, its own way of operating. The K visas, they're a different thing compared to just standard immigrant visas, and for this reason, it's a good idea to sort of understand the ramifications of arrival in the United States in K-1 status, because upon arrival in the United States and presuming marriage to the American fiancé and filing for adjustment of status, there's a whole new burden placed upon that K-1 fiancé with respect to the issue of public charge when compared with adjustment of status in the past. So in the past, adjustment of status did not require, for example, something like the I-944 form. That document was not part of the adjustment process. And that thing is a massive form. It's basically a statement of financial sufficiency. There's a lot to it. It's over a dozen pages long. It gets very detailed into one's financial circumstances. There's also this adjudicatory discretion placed in the immigration officers to determine whether or not someone will prospectively become a public charge. And what is a public charge? Well, a public charge is someone who goes on means-tested benefits in the United States that are specifically listed, things like SNAP, TANF, these types of assistance programs, so-called food stamps, Section 8 housing, Medicaid, these types of things. And not only is someone that goes on to them or has gone on to them in the past, but it's, will they prospectively do so? And the adjudicating officer has to determine that. For purposes of the K-1 process, though, one thing to really be mindful of is, yes, there are new protocols associated with processing these and making determinations about financial ability to support. Most notably, the adjudicating officer at, for example, the U.S. Embassy in Vientiane, Laos, they are going to have to use a different threshold for both income and assets than they did in the past. And that threshold is raised significantly. So the thing to take away from this video, I can't give specific insight on specific cases because every case is different and you have to do analysis based on the facts of a given case. But those who are really thinking this may be an issue, it's probably not a terrible idea to get professional legal assistance, because I just think overall these changes that this administration have made, these are complex even for attorneys to deal with. So for lay people trying to do this on their own, I understand, you may want to do that, but it could lead to problems trying to deal with this on one's own because if nothing else, just the newness factor, if you will, having to do with these regulations. They just haven't been around very long, and even the officers are going to have, there's going to be some learning curve associated with applying these rules. So probably not a terrible idea to consult a professional in order to get some assistance with respect to dealing with a K-1 fiancé visa from Laos.